Your sister?
John Nash had 2 sons before he developed schizophrenia. Nash has passed on both his genius and his schizophrenia to his youngest son, Johnny. Dr. Nancy Andreasen has come to meet with Nash, his wife Alicia, and their son as she pursues her research in the links between creativity and mental illness.
So, you're a psychiatrist?
I'm a psychiatrist, yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Nancy.
Nancy.
Andreasen is the last name.
I see.
I'd like to talk to you, a little bit about what you were interested in when you were growing up. Your experiences playing chess.
Okay, just leave me with questions. I'll try to answer them.
Okay. When you first started having symptoms, as we would say,
I was in my teens.
you were in your teens.
I was a born-again Christian. I was a fanatic. I was a religious fanatic. And the voices I heard, I interpreted them all as God,
What kinds of things did the voices say?
I walked out into the middle of the highway, and they wanted me to stand there in the middle of the highway. That sort of thing, pretty severe.
Pretty severe.
Yes. I didn't realize that my father had passed on anything to me. I was just caught by surprise. Yeah. I was not savvy like you psychiatrists who know that sort of thing runs in the family. Instead, I was completely caught by surprise. I was flipped out at the time. I had given up my chess and my math. But I didn't really suspect that I was headed for a mental hospital.
So you were in your teens, but you also managed to recover enough so that you were able to go back and eventually get a PhD in math.
Well, that's a remarkable thing, that during my religious insanity, I lost all ability to do mathematics. I had been a mathematical genius, 800 on the essay, on the achievement test. But I lost all ability to do mathematics. I couldn't add a column of numbers. But then I went back to school. The voices disappeared, and I took up math again. And I regained all my mathematical abilities I had lost. And I went on to get a PhD, yes. I published and I taught, I followed in my father's footsteps, to do honor to my father,
Yeah. And
Johnny Nash, like his father, often experienced periods where he was able to regain his full intellectual capacity. But the psychosis would always reoccur, making life a roller coaster between insanity and lucidity.
But I'm still suffering, the symptoms of mental illness. I hallucinate, I still hallucinate, but I can function. I function despite the mental illness, functioning schizophrenia.
When you mention hallucinations, what do you mean explicitly? You mean a voice, or what do you mean?
Both auditory and visual.
You see something?
Yes.
What do you
Didn't
see?
you know that I have visual hallucinations?
Well, you claimed it once in the hospital. I remember one time...
You're not keeping up with me at all if you don't know that I have visual hallucinations.
That's... what is happening?
I have visual hallucinations, Dad.
What do you see?
I see things in the air that aren't there,
how do you know? I mean, like ghostly figures or what?
Like ghosts, yeah.
Shadows? You see shadows?
I see, in the air.
So it must be shadows, right? What do you see in the air?
You could call them shadows. And he hasn't even kept up with me.
Well, you haven't said that
Well,
you
it's
see
real
something.
hard.
We don't see it. You have to tell us that you see.
It's your parents are not your doctors, and so they don't want to intrude on your life.
That's too bad. Well, it's been a pleasure.
It's been very nice talking to you. Thanks very much.
Anger, withdrawal, isolation, denial. The symptoms of the disease and the reaction to them make treatment only more difficult.